So Saquon Barkley, according to sources this morning, Diana Rossini, may sit out week 1 against the Cowboys. She says it's definitely on the table. He's resentful. So once you handed Daniel Jones $40 million a year for 4 years, it changed the temperature in the room. You can never fool the players. Saquon Barkley, not the quarterback, is the most important part of the offense. And I'll give you an example. Look at Daniel Jones' numbers starting with Saquon Barkley. He ain't bad. 65 passer rating, 90 is the completion percentage, 91 passer rating with Saquon Barkley. It drops like a rock without Saquon Barkley to 77, more picks than touchdowns. So Daniel Jones is reliant on Saquon Barkley. Daniel Jones got the bag. Barkley is offered a franchise tag. Now, nobody would deny that every quarterback is probably better with a strong run game, although sometimes it's a committee of running backs. But let me give you a quarterback, Kirk Cousins, because I know what you're saying. Well, Colin, everybody's better. Let's take Kirk Cousins. With Dalvin Cook, a very good back, 98 passer rating. Without Dalvin, 109. Joe Mixon's excellent. But Joe Burrow's passer rating doesn't change with or without Mixon. Justin Herbert's actually better without Austin Eckler passer rating. The Chargers see that. So do the Vikings. That's why the Vikings let Cook go and why the Chargers don't want to re-sign Eckler at his money, and why, by the way, Joe Mixon took a pay cut. Now, we know Burrow's a superstar, and Herbert could be, and Cousins is B+. It's okay that Daniel Jones is better. All those three are not, by the way. Cousins, Herbert, Burrow aren't necessarily better with a running back. It would be okay if Daniel Jones was better with Saquon Barkley, but he's reliant on him. He's got bad numbers for a backup without him. And so you can only franchise tag one player, right? So I would have franchise tagged Daniel Jones because it's a more valuable position. And then there would have been some pressure to sign Saquon Barkley. But I would have said, hey, I didn't give the bag to the quarterback, the most important position in football. And Barkley would have been unhappy. That's what I would have done. I would have franchise tagged the quarterback and had to deal with an unhappy Saquon Barkley. And I would still have all sorts of team flexibility on a franchise tag to the quarterback. Let's see Daniel Jones this year, second year with Daboll with a much tougher schedule. Then we'll make a decision. But when you gave the bag to Jones, and the only option now is a 1-year deal for the centerpiece of the offense, that's the difference between unhappy and resentment. I don't think Barkley would be resentful if you gave Daniel Jones a franchise tag. I don't think he'd be resentful. I think he'd be unhappy. He'd want the big contract, and there would be pressure on them. But you wouldn't be trapped for 4 years with Daniel Jones. You wouldn't be trapped, and you'd have an unhappy running back. Hell, half the league's running backs are unhappy. It's analytics. It's the way the world works now. But Albert Breer talked about this very sentiment yesterday on the show.
He's obviously a player who's been through what Saquon's been through and playing 5 years for the team, going through the injuries he went through and then committing to a new program and helping them get not only a better season in 2022, but also helping them, develop a better quarterback in Daniel Jones. That guy's going to feel like something's owed to him.
Yep. Owed to him is resentment. That's why I said, the minute you gave Daniel that money, you changed the temperature in the room. Change the temperature in the room. Now Saquon's like, I make that guy? You gave him the bag? They say it's called seeing around corners for business people. Seeing around corners. Can you see what's going to happen 6 months down the road or a year down the road when you make big business decisions? this was inevitable. If I was a GM, my rule has always been very simple. Pay huge money rarely, very infrequently, but pay it to players who are great. Daniel Jones is not only not great, he's completely reliant to be good on Saquon Barkley. And there's your resentment. Okay, so I want to talk about Justin Fields. I said earlier this week, I think of all the quarterbacks in the NFL that have the most pressure, it's not on Dak. It's on Justin Fields. He's 5-20 in 25 starts. And for years and years, when I criticized Baker Mayfield, I believe many of you in the audience, though not all, I did have a lot of supporters, but many of you in the audience confused ego for confidence. I thought Baker had too much ego. I also said that about Johnny Manziel. He had too much ego. You guys would say it's chutzpah. I love my quarterback to be confident. So do I. Mahomes is. He has self-awareness. Brady, Peyton Manning, Justin Herbert, Burrow, Lamar Jackson, they have confidence. I don't see their ego. I don't see Lamar's ego. I don't see Josh Allen's ego. I saw it with Baker every Wednesday at the podium. I saw it with Manziel. It matters. You have, for years and years, many of you have told me it doesn't matter. And I always say with young quarterbacks, when I start seeing the drip, 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 that's the term I use, the faucet's leaking, drip, drip, drip. One little thing, that little thing, that little thing, it all matters at quarterback. It doesn't all matter at corner, middle linebacker, edge rusher, guard, running back. I don't hold them to the same standards. But at quarterback, you're the face of the franchise, and you're the coach on the field. So I'm going to hold you to a much higher standard of self-awareness and confidence over ego or chutzpah. And so this is not the end of the world. It's 5%. But I don't love it for a quarterback that's 5-20 and right now is closer to a bust than a star. Lamar's an MVP, Cam's an MVP, Vick's a 4-time Pro Bowler, Steve Young's a Super Bowl winner, Justin Fields is 5-20. You should have said, can we make it a top 4? Or said, I'd love to be there. Now, you can argue, I don't think he's one of the top 5 running quarterbacks. He'd get banged up, can't win games. It's not the end of the world. MVP, 4-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl winner, bust. I just want a better answer. Not the end of the world. Either was Baker Mayfield calling out Duke Johnson, the running back of the medical staff. I don't know. J-Mac rolls his eyes. It ain't that big of a deal. But I got a guy with a quarterback rating in the 70s. A guy that's now hurt. They ended the season with a 10-game losing streak. By the way, who would I put in that list? Russell Wilson? You know, Super Bowl winner? I'm sorry. The list of 5 best running quarterbacks, if you're a great running quarterback, you win games. I've always been 60-40 on Justin Fields is going to succeed. I'm coming back 5%, J-Mac. I'm 55-45. He's going to succeed. I'm pulling back 5%. Lack a little self-awareness. The answer should have been, how about I name 4? If you're throwing Russell Wilson in there, then you're like, yeah, they're all winners. I don't know. Just me. I know Chicago will go crazy. But right now, Justin Fields is a bust. He's 5-20. 10-game losing streak. Passer rating in the 70s. I mean, you let me ask you right now. Last year, was he not easily the worst quarterback in the division? It's not Aaron. Wasn't Goff. Wasn't Kirk Cousins. He was the 4th best quarterback last time this division played. Am I wrong? Now, he may be better than Jordan Love, but right now he doesn't have Goff. Goff's been to a Super Bowl. He's not Kirk Cousins. Right now he's a YouTube quarterback. His highlights are great. 79 passer rating, 5-20. Not saying I'm bailing. Still think it's 55-45 he's going to succeed. Drip, 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 drip. Said it for 3 years on Baker. You argued every time. I said it for a year on Manziel. I said it for several years on Jameis. Drip, drip. Everything counts. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.